Hello, Jay here. Welcome to Beginning Guitar Chapter 10. Okay, we're going to start off with some chords and we're going to learn A6 and D minor 7. Okay, for your A6, it's going to be basically an A major chord and adding the sixth note of the major scale to it. So we're going to add an F sharp to our A chord and it's going to make it into an A6. Okay, now I'm going to give you a few different options for each of these chords. Okay, first one for your A6, this is just going to be like a quadruple stack chord. So I'm just gonna stack my fingers. I'm gonna start with my index on the 2nd fret 4th string, middle fingers on the 2nd fret 3rd string, ring fingers on the 2nd fret 2nd string, and then pinky gets the 2nd fret 1st string. And you can have your open 6th and 5th string. Okay, now another option for this one, as it might be kind of tight for your fingers depending, you could just bar it with your index finger. So now I'm gonna have my index finger on the 2nd fret on the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st string. And that F sharp is the note up on top. Okay, now here's another cool A6 chord. This is gonna take us away from our open position. So now I'm gonna have my middle finger on the 7th fret 4th string, index is on the 6th fret 3rd string, ring finger is on the 7th fret 2nd string. You could have all your open strings. Okay, now for your D minor 7, we're gonna basically have a D minor chord and we're gonna add a flat 7 and it's gonna be the note C natural in the key of D because C sharp would have been our normal 7th note of the major scale. Okay, let's go ahead and start off. This one's gonna have like a mini bar. So I'm gonna have open 5th string, open 4th string, middle finger is on the 2nd fret 3rd string, and then with my index finger, I'm gonna bar it across the 1st frets on the 2nd and 1st string. Okay, now you can also fret this chord. So I'm gonna put my ring finger on the 2nd fret 3rd string, index is on the 1st fret 2nd string, and then middle gets the 1st fret 1st string. Okay, one more D minor 7. If we just take basically like our open position D major chord up to the 5th fret. So now I've got my index finger on the 5th fret 3rd string, ring fingers on the 6th fret 2nd string, middle fingers on the 5th fret 1st string, and then you can come in from your 5th string with open 5th and 4th string. That's another cool way to play D minor 7. This chapter's strum pattern is going to have a combination of some eighth notes and a quarter note. We're going to have eighth notes on beats 1, 2, and 4, and a quarter note on beat 3. Now for your eighth notes, I'm going to recommend a down-up strum. When you see the box without a bottom, that's a down strum, and a arrow pointing down is an up strum. On beat 3, we'll just have a quarter note. You can just do a down strum for that. Okay, now our pattern is going to sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and. Here's the pattern without a chord. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just be playing each of these one time, but I recommend repeat them each 4 to 8 times and check out your different tempos, slow, medium, and fast. Okay, grab your A6 and let's go 4 bars with that pattern. I'll be using the bar for this one, but you could try those different options if you like too. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Okay, for number 2, we're going to go 4 bars with the D minor 7. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Here's number 2 a little faster. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Okay, for number 3, we're going to have an 8-bar progression. We're going to go 4 bars of A6 into 4 bars of D minor 7. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Okay, for number 4, we're going to go 2 bars of A6 into 2 bars of D minor 7. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. 5, we're going to do a bar of regular A major into a bar of A6, and then repeat that again for bars 3 and 4. For your regular A major, I've got my index finger on the 2nd fret 4th string, middle fingers on the 2nd fret 3rd string, ring fingers on the 2nd fret 2nd string, and then you can have all your open strings. Now for this one, we could just do the stack and just add your pinky when we go to the A6. Now if you're going to be barring, you can also have your stack for your regular A major chord and then go to a stack for your A6, or you can just have your stack for your A major and then incorporate that high string for your A6. So for this one, I'm going to try out the stack. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and... Okay, for number 6, we're going to do a bar of D minor into a bar of D minor 7. For this one, I'm going to have my D minor. That's going to be middle finger is on the 2nd fret 3rd string, ring finger is on the 3rd fret 2nd string, index is on the 1st fret 1st string. Now to make this switch, I'm going to go from my D minor into that mini bar. And if you want to do the fretted D minor or one of the other versions, you could do those too. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and... For number 7, we're going to start off with an A6. We're going to do a whole note. That's going to be a chord lasting for 4 beats. We'll have our normal pattern on bar 2. So we'll switch it to a D major on bars 3 and 4 with normal pattern. For your D major, you're going to have index finger on the 2nd fret 3rd string, ring fingers on the 3rd fret 2nd string, and then middle fingers on the 2nd fret 1st string. Okay, here comes number 7. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's number 7 a little faster. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. For number 8, we're going to start off with a D minor 7 for first bar with normal pattern. Then we'll have 2 half notes on bar 2. That's going to be 2 chords lasting for 2 beats. We'll switch it to a G major on bar 3 with normal pattern. And then on bar 4, we'll have normal pattern, but we're going to have a half note rest for the first 2 beats where we won't play anything. Okay, here comes number 8. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and... 2, 4. Rest, rest. Okay, for number 9, we're going to start off with an A6 for the first 2 bars, but we're going to have a whole note rest on bar 1. We won't play anything. On bar 2, we're going to have a half note rest for the first 2 beats and then a quarter note rest on beat 3, and then we'll have 8th notes on beat 4. So we're actually only going to play 1 beat of the actual A6 chord. So we're going to hold off on that, but I will have my chord ready. And then on bar 3, we're going to switch it to an E minor. We're going to have normal pattern, but with a quarter note rest on beat 2. And then bar 4 is a whole note rest where we won't play anything. Here comes number 9. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and rest. 2, 3, 4. Rest. 2, 3. Rest. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Okay, for the last one, number 10, we're going to start off with the D minor 7. We're going to have normal pattern, but a quarter note rest on beat 4. On bar 2, we'll have normal pattern, but with a quarter note rest on beat 1. Switch it to an E major on bar 3, and that's going to have a quarter note rest on beat 2. And then on bar 4, we'll have a quarter note rest on beat 4. So that quarter note rest is moving around all the different beats for this one. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and... Rest, rest. Rest. For this chapter of scales, we're going to learn the A major scale in open position and the D minor scale in open position. Okay, let's first of all name our notes for the A major scale. It's going to be an A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and then back to an A. Okay, we're going to start off open 2, 4 on the 5th string. You could use your index finger for all these, or I'm going to be using my index and my ring On your fourth string, it's an open 2-4. Third string is a 1-2. I'm using my index and my middle for that. You can use your index for all those notes. That second fret on your third string is your first A octave. We're going to come back down from here. First fret, third string, 4-2 open on the fourth string, and then 4-2 open on the fifth string. Okay, here's that scale up and down. 3, 4. Okay, for number 2, we're going to hit each note 3 times. It'll sound like an eighth note triplet. 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Okay, for number 3, we're going to take our A major scale up 2 octaves. Let's do what we've already done. Open 2-4 fifth string, open 2-4 fourth string, 1-2 on the third string. On your second string, we're going to go open 2-3, and then on the first string, we're going to go open 2-4-5. And that fifth fret is your second octave A. Okay, now coming back down, 4-2 open. Second string is a 3-2 open. Third string is a 2-1. Fourth string is a 4-2 open. Fifth string is a 4-2 open. Okay, here's that scale up and down. 3, 4. D minor scale now, and our notes for the D minor scale is a D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C to D. Okay, we're going to start off open 2-3 on the fourth string, and then open 2-3 on the third string, and then 1-3 on your second string, and that takes us to our note D. That's the first octave. Let's come back down. First fret, second string, 3-2 open third string, and then 3-2 open fourth string. Here's that scale up and down. 3, 4. For number 5, going to hit each note 3 times. That'll sound like an eighth note triplet. 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Okay, for number 6, we're going to take the scale up 2 octaves. Let's do what we've already done. Open 2-3 fourth string, open 2-3 third string, 1-3 second string. Now we're going to climb up on the first string, open 1-3, and then 5-6-8, and then 10th fret is your second D octave. Okay, we'll come on down from here. 8-6-5, 3-1 open, second string 3-1. Third string, 3-2 open, and then fourth string is a 3-2 open. Okay, here's that scale up and down. 3, 4. I always recommend to jam and improvise with your chords and scales. So I'm going to play some A6 and then improvise with some A major scale. Start off with some chords. Any strumming's fine. And some scales. Back to some chords. Some more scales. Okay, now I'm going to do the same concept. I'm going to play a D minor 7 chord and then jam some D minor scale. Start off with some chords. Some scales. For this chapter study, we're going to talk about some slides and bends. Okay, now when you see a slash either going up or downward motion, it's going to indicate a slide, and a couple different ways we can slide. We can slide from one note to the next without picking the second note, or we can just slide on up and not pick the second note. So we're going to explore both of those. I want to point out with these slides, we want to keep our pressure down as we do the slides to have that slide sound and then land on our next note. To have a strong note, you want to keep your pressure all the time as you're sliding. Just let that thumb support it, and then you'll hear that sound of the slide. Okay, for number 1A through D, we're going to look at some legato slides. Okay, legato is kind of a smooth, fluid motion of notes. And for this one, we're going to be doing the slide where we're only going to pick the first note and then just slide up to the second note. Okay, now when you see that arc over the slash, that's going to indicate a legato slide. So for number 1A, let's slide from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret on the low 6th string. Okay, I'm just going to use my pointer finger, hit the first note, slide on up. I'm using my thumb on the back of the neck for some support. It's going to kind of do the slide with it. So my thumb makes that movement too. Okay, for number 1B, we're going to slide from 5 down to 2 on the 5th string. For C, we're going to slide from 4 up to 6 on the 4th string. And then for D, we're going to slide from 2 up to 5 on the 3rd string. Okay, now for number 2, A through D, we're going to look at some pick slides. Now for this one, we're going to pick the first note and then slide and then pick the second note. For the pick slides, you're not going to see that arc over the top. Here's number 2A. For number B, we're going to slide from 4 down to 1 on the 1st string. For C, we're going to slide from 2 up to 7 on the 4th string. And then for D, we're going to slide down from 6 to 2 on the 3rd string. Okay, for number 3, A through D, we're going to do a combination of legato slides. So I'm going to pick the first note, slide to a second note, and then slide from there to a third note without picking the second or third note. Okay, for number 3A, we're going to slide from 3 to 5 back down to 3 on the 6th string. For B, we're going to slide from 4 down to 2 back up to 4 on the 4th string. For C, we're going to slide from 1 to 3 and then up to 5 on the 2nd string. For D, we're going to slide from 7 down to 4 down to 2 on the 3rd string. Okay, for number 4 and the next numbers, we're going to look at some bends. Now, bend is when we hit a note and then we're going to bend the note. And then usually we're going to be bending up, especially on the higher strings, but sometimes we bend down on the lower strings too. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at number 4. We're just going to bend our 4th fret on the 3rd string, and not going to have a particular note goal to get to, but we just want to hear a bending sound. Okay, now for your bends, I'm going to recommend use either your ring finger, your middle finger's a good bender too. You can do pinky bends if you like to. Index finger can also bend depending on the neck. But for these numbers, I'm going to recommend use your ring finger and then also have some support fingers right behind it on the same string. So I'm going to have my ring finger on the 4th fret, 3rd string. I'm going to have my middle finger and my index both behind it on the third string. My middle finger's around the third fret, index is around the second fret, but these fingers can also squeeze up a little bit too. So think of it more like they're just supporting the bend. So I'm going to hit that first note and then see if I can get that note to bend and change pitch. Okay, for B, we're going to bend the 5th fret on the 2nd string, again, using my ring finger with some support fingers. Now your thumb can be on the back of the neck, but it's also nice to have it over the top of the neck to add like a counter pressure. And then you can kind of squeeze down and let that finger do the bending as my thumb's clamping down. And then also your right hand, keep it in position. Just in case there's some unwanted notes, your right hand can also kill the sound of the bend when you're ready. Okay, let's go to C. Now we're going to bend our 7th fret on the 1st string. Okay, for number 4, D, we're going to bend our 3rd fret on the low 6th string, and we're going to bend it downward towards our foot, because if we bend up, you kind of run out of neck. So for this one, I'm going to use my middle finger. I've got one support finger behind it, and I'm just going to tug it down towards my foot. For number 5, we're going to go into trying to hit an actual note with our bend. If we do a full step bend, that's when you see the scoop and a number. It's telling us 1. It means it's asking for a full step. So if you hit your 5th fret normal, go up 2 frets to your 7th fret, and that's going to show you what a full step note will sound like once we bend it. Okay, now for number B, we're going to bend our 8th fret on the 2nd string a half step. So if you hit your 8th fret normal, just go up a half step to your 9th fret. That's going to be our goal note. Let's see if we can hit it. And that's a half step bend. Okay, now for C, we're going to go to our 9th fret on the 1st string, and we're just going to bend it a quarter step. So that's just a real slight bend. Not even a half step. Just a small quarter step. Okay, now let's go to our 2nd fret on the 3rd string, and we're going to bend this note a full step. So I'm going to hit my note normal. I'm going to use my middle finger for this one, and I'm going to have my index finger for support. Normal note 2nd fret, go up to your 4th fret. That's going to be a full step. That's our goal note. Okay, for 6, now we're going to do a bend and a release. So when you see the scoop and then coming back down, that's going to indicate a release. And what we want to do is bend the note and release it back to the original note. So I'm going to bend my 4th fret on the 3rd string, and I'm going to release it back down to where I started. Okay, now we're going to do a bend release on the 5th fret 2nd string. Okay, now when you see a bend release and then the note is given, that means we're going to pick the note once we do our bend and release. So I'm going to bend my 5th fret on the 3rd string and release it, and then hit it once it's released. Okay, now we're going to do the same concept on the 7th fret on the 2nd string, bend, release, and then pick it once it's released. So I recommend bend all over your guitar. Try out some larger bends and smaller bends. This also leads us into our vibrato. And we'll be talking about some different techniques as we go through the book too, because there's all sorts of different things. We can have pre-bends where the note's already bent, bend and release once it's pre-bent, bending, releasing to a pull-off. So these are all kind of the legato sounds that we use a lot in guitar. They're really fun and they're challenging and they're very soulful too. So have fun with those. Okay, thank you so much for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you for Chapter 11. Take care.